Good evening and welcome to Money Problems. My name is Sarah Beth O'Neill, and tonight my guest is Michael McCullough from Family Credit Management of Chicago. Michael, thank you for being with us again tonight.
Thank you for having me.
This is a live interactive show brought to you by CAN TV 21. There's a number on the bottom of your screen, and we'll be taking your calls all night regarding your credit and your finances. So if you have any questions, we have an expert here in the house tonight, so go ahead and give us a call and fire away. Michael, why don't we start off talking a little bit about what your company does for the people who may not have seen you here before?
Sure. Well, Family Credit Management is a nonprofit credit counseling agency. We work with people throughout the state of Illinois. We have offices right in downtown Chicago, Rockford, Bloomington, Peoria, Illinois. We work with consumers who are struggling with debt, maybe don't understand their credit report, don't understand how to rebuild their credit, don't understand how credit works. We our specialty is working out what we call creditor intervention, where creditors people are in crisis situations with their creditors, maybe they're past due, receiving over limit fees, high interest rates, struggling with them getting past due. Perhaps they need housing counseling, their mortgage is going into foreclosure, or they're past due with their mortgage. We also provide financial education seminars and classes and educational materials and all the information, the real important information that we need today to better manage our finances and our credit.
Okay, great. And we'll go ahead and give Family Credit's information on your screen right now. So if you have any questions that you don't want to ask on the show, or you think that you need a little bit more time with one of their certified credit counselors, you'll be able to give them a call. And the services they offer are listed as well with their phone number and their web address. Now, Michael, you mentioned right off the bat credit. And I know that's something that people often don't understand until they're having some big problems with it. So can you tell us a little bit about your credit and why it's so important?
Well, credit is getting more important to us, all the time. And credit's also something that's relatively new. Some of us, our parents or our grandparents, they didn't use credit. They used it for a home, and in some cases that was it. Maybe a car. Certainly not for furniture, clothes, or groceries and fast food, which for many of us now today is the case. Credit cards, really haven't been around that long, and they certainly haven't been as prevalent as they are today and had such an impact on our lives as they do now. Credit's also very important. If you want to do things like travel or rent a car or a hotel room, you really do need to have some sort of plastic in order to do that. And your credit report is also becoming more and more important to us all the time. And it's something that's actually kind of hard to understand. And for those of us who aren't in the credit or lending business, we don't understand how easy it is to mess up, how to improve it, how to keep it good. And this is all really important.
Okay, can you please tell us a little bit about what exactly is in your credit report? Because we hear about our credit reports all the time, but what exactly is it made of?
Well, what your credit report is, it's an individualized document based on your experience, your history. It's going to have several different facets. It's going to have all your, some of your personal information, where you live, your last address. It's going to have public records. So it's going to have on there if you've had bankruptcies, divorces, lawsuits, judgments, any of those things are going to show up on there. And then the real kind of meat of your credit report is your history, your credit lending experiences, how you've managed your credit. One of the most important things, is all that information is going to be put into a formula, most oftenly the FICO formula, which gives them a 3-digit number for you, or gives you a credit score. That score is going to go anywhere from 300 up to theoretically 850, although I don't think anyone's ever had an 850. In theory, it can go to 850. Average score is about 700, 725. I guess is about the average one now. But your payment history is going to be about 35% of your score. So this is something that's important. How have you paid your bills? The biggest emphasis is going to be in the last 12 months to last 24 months. So you have to remember, our credit report's a timeline. As time goes on, you paid as agreed, it's going to start to get better. Your outstanding debt is going to be about 30% of your score. So what they don't want to see is, how much are you maxing out? If you're maxing out credit cards, that's an expensive way to borrow money. You may not be managing things well. That's going to affect your score negatively. The length of your credit history. They want to see older ones. They don't want to see, that all of your accounts are 1 or 2 years old. They want to see how you've handled things over an extended period of time. The different types of credit you have. They don't want to see just a mortgage. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to over the years that have said to me, well, I've got perfect credit. I probably have that 850 because I have a mortgage and I've paid it every month on time. Unfortunately, that doesn't make perfect credit. In fact, lenders don't even see that as a positive. Why? Because when we're in hard times, we still try to make our mortgage payment. So paying your mortgage on time every month doesn't let them know how did you handle your finances when things were tight. They want to see a mix. They want to see a mortgage, car payments, some credit cards. Those are all the things that are going to be a factor. Some little things then are how much new credit you have. You've got a lot of credit recently. That's going to bring your score down. And then inquiries. Who's been looking at your credit report? And this is something you should know. It's two different kinds of inquiries. There's a hard pull and a soft pull. You want to hard pulls mean it's for credit granting purposes. Those are the ones that can affect you. Soft ones for employment or a job, those aren't going to affect it at all.
Okay, great. So there's a lot of information in there, and it's very important to understand what exactly affects your credit. Now, Michael, how would I go about getting a copy of my credit report?
Well, everyone's entitled to a free copy of their credit report. There's actually 3 different reports. It's the TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. They all offer you copies of your, all provide and have your credit report on file. And they're different companies, so they're going to have different information. So what you want to do is you may want to get all 3 of them. If you haven't seen it for a while, you want to at least get one. And you can get that by going to annualcreditreport.com. Now, this is the only site you can get a free one from. There's some other websites out there that sound like they should be better, but those aren't the ones. It's annualcreditreport.com. It's free. Now, if you do want a copy of your credit score, and it's good to know your credit score, unless you're planning a major purchase, car or home, you don't really need to know it, but it's good to know. That does cost extra. It's usually about $5 to get your score. You really only need it from one of the 3 bureaus, and you don't necessarily even need to get that.
Okay, great. Now, say I get my credit report and I'm looking it over and I realize that there's some information in there that's not mine, which I've heard can happen. How would I go about taking care of that?
Well, and unfortunately that does happen and happens with some frequency. To defend the credit bureaus, they have some 280 million different files. A lot of us have very similar names. We move all the time. So the credit bureaus try to have accurate information on their credit reports because they're selling this information to lenders that are making important decisions on it. So they're going to try to have accurate information. Will they always? No. Absolutely not. In fact, some studies I've seen say 25-30% of our credit reports have inaccuracies on it. So when you get a copy of that credit report, it's going to have very easy instructions right on the website on how to go ahead and challenge the accuracy of that information. And some things are going to matter, some things will not. If there's a collection account on your report that's not yours, that's something that's going to matter a lot. If it doesn't have your current employer on there, that's not affecting your score. Probably doesn't matter at all. So, and if you get that score, you get your report, you don't understand it, you have questions about it, contact someone like us. We've got credit counselors available who you can bring your report in, sit down with us. We can answer the questions and help you understand, really what's on your score, why it matters, what's on your report. So, feel free, like I said, give our office a call. We've got credit counselors now. If you know what's on your report, call us now, and we can answer it too.
Okay, that's great information. Like Michael said, if you have some questions about what's currently on your credit report or anything else having to do with your finances, go ahead and give us a call right now. We are taking your calls, and we have Michael here tonight to answer your questions from Family Credit Management.